It sounds blunt, but America is fat, and that includes our children. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says a third of America's kids are overweight, half of them obese. Not only is it emotionally painful, but it's becoming America's biggest battle on the health front. Being an adolescent is hard. Being an overweight adolescent is excruciating.
They call girls fat, ugly. They kind of make fun of you, basically. It made me feel like an outcast.
Cruel words are only part of the problem.
When I played soccer in the fall, I couldn't run.
Yeah, my hips hurt sometimes.
At 12, Devontae's weight hit 300 pounds, and now he faces a health crisis.
Devontae is type 2 diabetic.
Type 2 diabetes, something that I didn't used to see when I was in training.
Pediatricians are treating kids for conditions that used to only affect their grandparents, things like sleep apnea, high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
We are in a generation that has a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
We used to think a little baby fat was healthy, not to mention adorable. So how do we determine when a child is overweight or obese?
In children, you cannot take an absolute cutoff like one does in adults because children are growing. So we go according to percentiles of BMI.
BMI, or body mass index, is calculated using height and weight. With children and teens, it's age and gender specific. Growth charts compare an individual child to his or her peers and give them a percentile ranking. Children who fall between the 5th and 85th percentiles are considered a healthy weight. Children with BMIs that fall between the 85th percentile and 95th percentile are overweight. Anything above that is considered obese.
Unknowingly, we're killing them.
The role of lifestyle is crucial.
Fast food is much simpler than getting home at 6 p.m. and cooking for another 2 or 3 hours.
Not to mention cheap, which makes it all the more tempting given the current state of the economy.
Children don't go outside to play. They don't jump rope anymore. They don't climb trees. They don't bike. They don't walk to school.
There's also a hidden factor.
It actually may start at conception.
Heredity may predetermine the weight of children.
If you do have the FTO gene, it just puts you at risk for becoming obese and having type 2 diabetes and extra body fat.
Genetics researchers have found at least 11 mutations that cause a malfunction in the MC4 receptor. That means a hormone that suppresses appetite doesn't do its job, so you eat more to feel full.
They're born with a certain number of genes that they inherit. And then during their development, they have genes that will either turn on or turn off, depending upon their environment and depending upon what behaviors they're allowed to participate in.
In other words, even if you can't change your child's genes, you can change habits.
A lot of cookies and
Pretzels, cheese nips, and animal crackers.
Ice cream, Pop-Tarts, Snickers.
The short list of foods that put American kids on the road to obesity.
I want to be able to fit in some of the clothes that other girls fit in.
I'm trying to lose weight so I can play sports better.
We really need to get parents on board with adopting healthier lifestyles for all of us.
My family has a history of it, no one I grew up with, and they tease you and pick on you and things, and I don't want that for her.
Tammy Suchanik saw history repeating itself when daughter Kristen's BMI made it to the 90th percentile.
We eat late, eat fast food, a lot of snacking in between.
And that's what needs to stop. Step one,
bringing back the family meal.
bless the Lord.
We know that families eat together. They have a more nutritious diet, and take some time on the weekend to plan out what the meals will be during the week so that dinner isn't just an afterthought and picked up at a drive-through.
Step two, teach kids about what they're eating. Olivia lives by the 5-10 rule.
5 or less grams of fat and 10 or less grams of sugar.
Step three, help children become mindful eaters.
Are you eating out of boredom? Are you eating because you're happy, because you're stressed?
Diet is only one part.
165.
Which brings us to step four, the dreaded E word, exercise.
One day a week we focus on cardiovascular fitness, one day is muscular strength, and the other one we do team activity, the same sports models we used to use,
The innovative PE for Life program teaches kids not necessarily to be athletes, but to enjoy fitness forever.
Probably when I'm older, I'll go to the gym and stuff.
It uses video games kids love to get them dancing, jumping, and pedaling up a sweat.
Our rate of overweight and obese combined is 11% compared to 35% nationwide. We're doing something here that works.
And if we don't do more fast, our children will pay.
The economic consequences of childhood obesity is staggering, somewhere in the $11 to $14 billion mark. But that's just here and now. What's going to happen and what's the price tag down the road when these children end up needing dialysis or end up needing bypass surgery?
I want to see my friends look at me like another girl, not like how my weight looks.